Hope you're doing well here. Have you had the chance to see anything on the expo? It's kind of it. I think it's a very good sign when I could actually walk through the whole expo with all the people here and no one even noticed me. So I think it was a pretty good, what you call it, a good grade for the exhibition this year. It's looking really cool. But now and the following about 40 minutes or so, we'll be talking about the Minecraft Pocket Edition. And with me here I have the developers on Pocket Edition. The only one not here right now is Aron. He's also been working a lot on the technology behind the Pocket Edition previously. We introduced these guys at the opening ceremony, but here we have Johan and Tommaso. And Johan has been working actually the last year, since the last MINECON, he's been working more or less alone for a long period of time. So we're trying to, with Thomas' help, we're going to speed things up a little. Anyway, so the agenda for today is that I'm going to talk about the updates that we've done since last MINECON, because I kind of like doing like a quick review of the year of development. And then we're going to talk about I got really distracted now, sorry. We're going to talk about the plans for 08 and 09. That will the 08 will be released fairly soon, and then we will work on the 09 release. And lastly, we'll have some questions from the community that we've been gathering beforehand, and if there's time remaining, we will take questions from you as well. So let's get started. Since last MINECON, we've had 2 major releases and 7 patch releases. Many of the patch releases have contained new features as well. But the first one was 06, which we released in January, and it has a bunch of new features. It had armor, signs, and quartz. Well, you can obviously read the things I have put on the list. And it introduced more flexible stairs that we had on the PC version. It also got the quartz blocks before the PC version because of how the release planning looked like back then. And then we started working on 07, which it required us to implement the Mojang accounts. So in the future we will have the Pocket Realms, or the Minecraft Realms for Pocket Edition. So you can actually connect to your Mojang account from the Pocket Edition. This will also allow us to have other things that have been on the PC version previously, like more profile-specific settings and stuff. We also added buckets, even though Tomo pointed out that they didn't really work well, but they're working better now. And more spawn eggs. We had in-game chat, and more stuff that were edible. And about after the 07 release, that's when Thomas started working. So we made a couple of patch releases with a bunch of new features, like multiplayer names, player lists, sun, moon, stars, double chests, and the most recent version that you probably are playing now is the 076. But let's introduce Tomo, since he wasn't on the Pocket Edition team last year. Yeah, here's his presentation slide, and he can talk some. Say.
Hi. I've been working on Pocket Edition in the past months, and yeah, that's actually it. It has been fun.
Yeah, Tom was actually working. I'm also a developer on a game called Cobalt, which is developed by what we call a third-party company for Mojang. And Tom was a developer on the Cobalt game engine, so that's how we got in touch. So Tomo is a really good C++ and like graphics render programmer. For if you want to know, like Johan here is probably the one that does most of the stuff on Pocket Edition. So you can see Tomo's Twitter account here. Johan is J and his last name in one word. So you have like J and Bernhardsson. It was supposed to be on this slide. I'm very sorry. Something messed up. That was me. Yeah. Anyway, so now we got both Tomo and Johan working on the next update. And a lot of these things have already been confirmed on Twitter, but I'll just go through them. So 08 will have the block of code from the PC version, and carpets and sideway logs. And it will also have hay bales, pumpkins, carrots, and potatoes. And it will have cobblestone walls, rails, iron bars, clock, and compass. And it will, have a farther render distance if you have a device that supports it. You can also see on this image that you can also enable 3D clouds, right? Yeah. And the boats and minecarts are still, there is still maybe, I think. They're still in development, right? Not boats, not boats. Okay, forget about boats, sorry. But we should get there soon, I think. You're working on minecarts, right? Yeah. So when we have minecarts in, that it's easier to do boats. Redstone Ore will finally drop Redstone. I was actually in Australia a couple of weeks ago, and my nephews, they were playing the Pocket Edition, and of course I play with them. And they're 5 and 7 years old. And when I went through their mine systems, they were like, they had kept all the redstone ore. And I thought, how did you even know you should save those? They were like, well, you know, school, they told us. But now finally you will be able to get the redstone dust from the ore, but you can't place it yet. But you can at least store it in your chests. Also, Aaron is working on the new AI system that also comes from the PC version, which will allow for new mob behaviors such as breathing. And the release date is soon. Most of these features are already implemented, so we'll get right at this after. Oh, hi, Graham. When we get back from MINECON and holidays. Well, I mean, some people want to stay in the States for a few days. So, yes, but we also have already started the development on the version that will come after 08, which is not so surprisingly 09. So what can we say about 09? Not so much yet, but it has one really big new feature that I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to, and that's infinite worlds. Yes, and this will be released later. I don't want to give. I don't even want to estimate, but we're working on this, and it's looking promising. Yeah. So a few weeks ago, Tomo ran a poll on the internet about like what people were looking forward to, and that kind of reflects on what we have chosen to work on now. But do you want to say a few words about the poll?
I ran this poll and to ask the community what their priorities were, and unsurprisingly, the and the first ones were infinite worlds and caves, which we're trying to implement now in 09, and redstone. that was actually first for most of the time, but then got replaced by infinite words and endermans. But yeah, I guess we are trying to implement all of them eventually, but yeah, as the development can allow, I guess.
Yeah, actually, all of these top 5, they were really even in the poll, and it was it was difficult to see which one was leading actually. So these are kind of like we always take like feedback from what people want to see, and then we kind of more or less make our own plan based on that somehow. So I also asked the community and specifically the Reddit community if they had any questions that they wanted us to bring up, and we picked a few, and we're going to try to answer them here. And the first one is, how closely does the Pocket Edition features follow the PC version, and will they ever be compatible in the future? And we've been talking about this before, and it's very unlikely that they ever will be fully compatible. So we're not trying to achieve that. So instead, we've been talking about. Of course, we want Pocket Edition to be like as feature-rich as the PC version, but we also are open to adding features that diversify the Pocket Edition from the PC version. And so far, the main feature is the nether reactor, even if that's like a solution to the problem that we don't have nether in the Pocket Edition. But we're open to like adding Pocket Edition unique mobs and features. So it's not very likely that there will be compatibility between the PC and the Pocket Edition versions. And so the next question is, will there ever be snapshots that allow us to test development versions? And do you want to say something?
Yeah, so for Android, we're actually planning to use the Google Play beta program to be able to get this out to like maybe 1,000 people or so to test the releases before we actually commit them to the Apple and the Amazon store and things like that. We've seen with a few previous versions that like we don't have the capacity to test all the features that have been broken. So we're going to set up some sort of group where people can join and where you can like test the new releases. Hopefully those releases will be sort of stable, but it will still mean that we get the more polished versions out quicker.
Yes, and then when will we have redstone circuits? We don't know. We'll see. We'll try to, depending on how much time we have, we'll try to get it in as, I don't know, yeah. I can't even answer. I would like to see it like in 2009, but I think it will be after the Infinite Worlds, because we need to see how that works before we start working on the redstone logic blocks. And then, will new features force you to drop old devices, and what's the cutoff rate? And in this case, a device is like, when will we not support iPhone 4, for example? But that's really far into the future. Sorry? 5. Yeah, when will we not support iPhone 5? But I mean, that's also a relevant question for Android as well. So do you have any input on?
Yeah, so we don't drop devices unless we have to. And I think that we only done that 2 times. We dropped Android 2.1 and 2.2 because they were simply a hassle to us to develop them. It just took up so much time, and it was a very, very small part of our user base that played on those devices. And for iOS, we had to drop the older versions now this summer because of we found a faster way to develop that works with both Android and iOS, but that didn't work on the older iOS versions. And we don't currently have any plans to drop like Android 2.3 or iOS, which one is it, 5? The one that we currently support. Because the new versions don't really have any like must-have features for us.
And that also means that if you have an old device, we will offer options to turn off the most performance-heavy features, like such as caves and ravines. They create a lot of faces to render, so they are even if you have a proper culling of those, it will require a faster device. So we'll have an option to have worlds without them even in the future. And then we got the question: do you plan to support gamepads and keyboards? And yeah, currently the game isn't really designed for that, so it's a kind of a big development cost for us to create a good way of supporting all the different devices. So we have decided to push that farther into the future. So there's no current development to enable the gamepads on the Pocket Edition. Yeah, and these are the 5. Oops, no, there was one more. I can't count. Yeah, sorry. This, of course. When infinite worlds are added, do we need to create completely new worlds? You know, and we haven't fully agreed on this yet.
Yeah, the jury is still out. I think that my idea was to actually, I know it's not that I don't know, the opinion can be different, but I think that to get the new biomes and stuff, you probably need to make a new world, just because the borders, they will not blend well because everything changes. But I mean, we still have to decide on that. We could allow that for switching to the new world, but to the new format. But I guess that you will be able anyway to make your old world infinite. So yeah.
Yeah, it will probably an active decision if you want to unlock the infinite worlds, because as the people who have been playing the PC version are well aware that every time we change the world generator, you get really ugly seams between the new and old areas. But obviously, we will always support the old worlds in one way or another. So it's not like you have to start over.
Maybe we could add a very big warning button. You will get ugly seams that you can press. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. So these were the prepared questions. If you have a question for us now, you have to talk really clearly so we can repeat the question into the mic, so it goes on the stream, and then answer it. Also, if you want to direct the question to someone special, please do that. The question was, do we have any plans to adding skins? And absolutely, yes, we do. We haven't decided exactly how that's going to work, but yeah, that's definitely something we want.
I hope to add them in 09. But we haven't decided how they're going to work yet. But we will decide later.
Yeah. You and the gray chat. The question was if we have any plans to add a hunger bar. I am a little bit undecided on that still. The hunger bar in the PC version was very controversial, and there seems to be like two teams: the ones who love it and the ones who hate it. So that's why I'm a little bit scared to add a hunger bar. And sometimes I wonder if some people ask, are you going to add a hunger bar so we can have sprinting, for example, because they are kind of connected? Yeah, it's still one of those. Yeah, I simply haven't decided. How do you feel about it?
I like it to be an option that you can turn off.
That's a no, I guess.
And I think we were thinking about adding sprinting just timed like in the old Minecraft versions, so without the hunger first, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. The question was if we change the torches so they light up a bigger area. This was actually news to me. I kind of assumed they light up the same area.
The PC version is actually a little bit darker, but mobile screens are terrible at showing that. Okay. So it may look darker, but like it should be almost exactly the same in game. And if it's a little bit different, then it's a little bit brighter.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry? The question was if we were going to add potions. Yes, I would think so. At the moment, in the PC version, a lot of the potion ingredients are in the Nether. So either we have to add the Nether, or we have to invent a new, clever way of getting the ingredients. But of course, we want potions sometime in the future.
I guess there will be a way in 09, another way to get Nether stuff. Yeah. So might be.
The question was if we're going to get MINECON capes for Pocket Edition.
Decide now.
Actually, I wouldn't mind that. It would be nice, but I can't really promise anything since we haven't even got normal capes on the Pocket Edition yet. So I think realistically, there would be capes for MINECON 2014 and not for 13. Let's take one on this side. How long it took to come up with the idea to make Pocket Edition? That didn't take very long time, I think. No, it was more. This happened. It's over 2 years ago when we started working on the Pocket Edition, and the pressure was obviously like everywhere that we wanted to have like a mobile version of the game. And we started working on one, and in the beginning we had a very close relationship with Sony Ericsson, so they wanted like us to make it for their Play phone first. But now we try to make the game for, well, not all yet, but most mobile phones. The question was when we plan to include villagers and emeralds.
I'm hoping that we will be able to add villagers in the 09 version. And yeah, Tommaso didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Well,
that's my plan when I'm going to start on the
okay.
09 version. I don't know when we're going to add emeralds. We sort of need them as well, I guess.
It's possible that the first villagers will not be able to trade with you. So it depends on when we add trading. But because the emeralds is very connected to trading. Oh, the question was what we will do with the Pocket Edition Lite. Do you have any idea? Input?
I mean, ideally, we would like to make a more updated version of that, but that sort of take away time from other things. And one problem was that people didn't know that there was a difference between like the demo version and the full version, and like some mobile stores don't allow you to like show what isn't included. So that was the reason why we had to remove it. We might get back to it in the future, but I think that we're going to focus on a few other features before that.
Yeah, you in the orange. If we plan to add hostile mobs to creative and spawn eggs, I think so. I don't see why they shouldn't be there. Yeah, you in the back. The question was if you want mods on Pocket Edition. Yeah, well, we sooner or later we plan to include all the mobs on the Pocket Edition, but we like take one at a time.
The new AI system is actually a part of that. Yeah. Like some of the mobs can't be implemented currently, and some also don't make sense right now because the world size is so small. So we've like kept a few of them for like infinite worlds.
The question was if we are going to be able to connect to realms based on IP instead of being invited.
No, you will not.
I knew that. No, it's only for invitation only. Yes. Okay, you. Yeah. Yes.
In 09, it's there.
Yes.
In 08, it's there.
08.
In 08, yes. You in the front. Yeah. The question was if we will support texture packs. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure, but
maybe. So with the new texture system that we're using, could sort of support it. So it's very possible. I'm not sure when. It will probably not be like in the 09 version, probably later than that.
And you in the hat.
When could we expect to see more biomes than the ones we already have?
Well, it probably comes with infinite worlds. You in the orange?
Are you going to be adding commands like in 01?
The question was if we're going to add commands. I think so, but it's kind of tedious to type most of the commands. So,
well, we already have commands actually, and for us, but just to test. And I think the idea is that most of the stuff will be like game mode will be doable with a graphical interface without like having to type, because that's annoying.
You. Yeah. The question was what 1.0 will be called. Was that correct?
I would call it beta. I have no idea what other people are going to call it, but it's beta for me.
Yeah, we're running out of numbers now, so sooner or later it has to be.
But no one says that we can have a 010.
Exactly. Yeah, you.
More deep,
Oh, the question was if we're going to plan to add a mod API. I don't think so. Unfortunately, adding a mod API is hard enough on the PC version, and that's in Java, which actually makes things easier. On Pocket Edition would be even harder because it's a C++ project.
And the thing is that on mobile devices, you cannot really, like on iOS, you cannot really modify the app without like jailbreaking, and I don't know if that's very good for the thing.
You and the blue shirt at the back. Yeah, the question is that infinite is not really infinite because you're always limited by something. And how big will they actually be on the Pocket Edition?
We were planning to, infinite basically means that generates when you actually walk. So we were planning to have different limits for the sides, like a little bigger than now and some other, and actually infinite. So that like when you host a map on your phone, then people cannot just eat 4 gigabytes of your memory. But yeah, I guess there will be some kind of biome at the end of the world, so that it's nicer than just like a wall.
You in the red shirt. Yeah, you. If we plan to add any of the blocks that were from 1.7 PC version into Pocket Edition, I would say eventually. It's not on the list right now. What has the biggest performance impact on the Pocket Edition?
Having the fancy setting on and looking at a lot of leaves.
Yeah, that's why one of the reasons why tallgrass hasn't been generated before, because a lot of devices have a really big problem with what is called alpha testing. You have already got one question. Yeah, the man in the back.
We have 2 iOS devices, none of them new. Well, we have an iPod Touch actually, and we have like 6 Android devices that we test on, and like it's very quick testing. Basically, when we try to implement new features, we have in the past just tried to do everything to try to break them. But we are going to move towards a more like having maybe 1,000 people actually testing on their device, and then see if they can give us any crash bugs or stuff like that.
Yeah, we had it's like sometimes in the past there have been like bugs on one specific device, and we've been like, oh, how can we find this device? I think it was like one of the Galaxies that had a rendering issue. Like it's a long time ago now, but yeah, then we're like tweeting. Does anyone have one that we can borrow? Yeah. Yeah, it will be in 08. You. No, the one in the blue. Yeah. No, the one in the blue.
Are you going to add paintings that you can take a picture from your device's camera and have your picture from your camera or one of these things?
The question was if we're going to add paintings that are pictures taken with your camera, and actually, that's a really funny feature. But we haven't we haven't thought of that before. We'll see. Ooh, fancy. No. Hey, you in the back.
Do you ever intend to add gyroscoping controls, like you can tilt your phone to look up instead of using your hand to pan it?
You want to take that?
We have a few other things that we want to try with the controls first, and we're sort of trying to fit them in, like, because we want to add like infinite worlds and redstone and all of these other like really cool features, and we have controls that are somewhat working. We have to like prioritize them a little bit less. I think that we are going to create a new controls, like for the new touch controls. They're going to be really good. So I think that people will really like to use those instead of like gyros and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry we're running out of time here, so no more questions. I really appreciate you all for coming. And in the afternoon there will be panels both about Minecraft Realms and about Minecraft PC version. And I'm heading right now to the Cobalt panel, so I'm going to be a little bit busy. But I'm sure both Tommy and Johan here will be available for more questions and pictures and whatever. So thank you very much.